Greetings, heathens and heretics, and welcome to In the Abyss. A slightly glum In the Abyss at the minute. We'll talk about that in a sec. But we have some distinguished guests with us this week. Mr. Will Chain, Mr. Nick Plews from Cage Fight. Welcome, chaps, to an hour of your life you are never going to get back.
Thanks for having us. Good to be here. It's good to
Welcome.
put a text message, a face to a text message as well, to be fair.
Yeah, it's a funny one, that, isn't it? You go bounce back and forth for weeks over message, and you think, "Oh, who the fuck is this person I'm talking to?" And here I am. So
Yeah.
you know,
Who
but
is this number?
yeah, exactly. I'm just some weirdo that's picked up. But yeah, thanks for coming on, guys. It's good to have you. I think time's going to get a little bit busy for you coming up now, isn't it? So we'll talk about all that in a minute. But before we do, this is the first thing we've recorded since the passing of Ozzy. So I think we just have to kick it off with a glass, don't we? I
Yeah,
think
I
it's
think
all
so.
it really needs, and
To the Prince of Darkness.
for the Prince of Darkness.
cheers, guys.
I don't drink, so I just hold up my coffee, a Diary of a Madman.
There you go. That's all you need. Whatever works. So yeah, it's we lose, but we celebrate his life, and I think that's what really matters. So, right, chaps. So you guys, Cage Fight. For those that might be watching this and listening to this, there's might be some that don't know who you are and whatnot. So give us a bit of an idea of who you are and what you do and where you're from and all that sort of jazz.
Yeah, so we're London based. We're a London based metal band, and somebody once described us as the intersection of hardcore and death metal. And I love that description so much. I just recycle it every time people ask me. Um, it's just fast, loud, aggressive, unapologetic music. And a lot of what we do is, yeah, designed to grab your attention, really, to be honest. The name comes from somebody listened to a demo and said it sounds like a cage fight.
Yeah.
I was about to say, it's like everything you've just described there. Like my confession is I didn't really hear you guys till very, very recently. Mr. Tregenza there has been on and on and on, like, I check this band out, check this band out. When I got around to it, I thought to myself, I've never heard such an appropriately named band. It's violent, it's exciting, it's entertaining, it's all those things. It's a cage fight.
Yeah, I think when James first started, so like just a bit of background generally about the band. So it's a lockdown project. So James Monteith, our guitar player, he likes to be busy. He does a lot. I get exhausting. I get exhausted talking to him about what he does, let alone him actually doing it. I don't know how he does it. But when lockdown came, he must have really struggled because he must have been super bored. But he had a really clever idea of basically saying, well, what is all the stuff that I love in music and in metal and in playing that I can't do in Tesseract? And, what is all that stuff and what can I do with it? What can I do with this creative outlet that I have? How can I channel that for something kind of, productive or something that I can use? And so he sat down in his little room at home and he wrote a load of demos, which became the Cage Fight demos. So a lot of what we do is deliberately kind of the opposite of what I think a lot of the way kind of trends are going and stuff. Like we have a thing with we always like to play with amps live. Like we played out in Germany a couple of weeks ago, and I think we were the only band on our day who actually had amps on stage.
We were,
Oh wow.
yeah, 100% the only band. So we had to make sure that there were, cabs available for us to play and everything else. And as what Will said, we go down the route of a lot of bands these days play with clicks, which I think is great. And obviously, we play to a click in the studio and all the rest of it. That's normal. And bands playing to clicks, happy days. But for us as a band, we like to do it naturally. So whatever mood I'm in is how fast the song is.
Case in point with of what Nick's saying is like there's a track 1 minute, and that is a song where all of us agree that is probably our favourite song to play live. And I I was running through the set a couple of weeks ago at home, and I thought I'll give that a go. And the difference between what was on the record and how we play it live is, to me, is crazy. I couldn't play along because we do it so live. We really lean back into the into the breakdowns, into the groove sections, and it really does feel like a different song when we play it live. And I love that, because we would be, I think for us personally, if we played to a click and stuff, you would just be listening to the record live. You would lose all that character and feel.
Exactly. There's something about seeing a band live where there's this certain risk involved in the process of watching band live. Now, not everyone's the same. I'm massively into this. So I remember when I was younger, I must have been a teenager watching Black Dahlia Murder, and I thought, what an incredible show. That was amazing. But it sounded to me exactly the same as the record that I listened to at home. And then I watched Napalm Death, where everything was at ridiculous speeds and made not as much sense as it did at home. But me personally, I loved it.
That's saying something.
Yeah, but I loved it more. That to me is that risk involved of a live show where anything can happen. And I think that fluctuation of speeds, where you lock in, there's a chemistry between band members, and you lock in, it kind of does this. And as long as you're locked in, you can do that. And what Will said about 1 minute is a really good example. So on record, I listen to it back, and it almost feels like a Doom song. It's that slow,
right?
Compared to what I'm used to hearing on when we're playing it live. But then we draw like the breakdowns down, but we draw them back, and I'll drop them back, and everyone just bang straight in. And people have said, "Oh, you play to a click." It's like, no, we just do it. It's that, I love that natural kind of instinct between musicians. That to me I find that really exciting.
No, I would completely agree. And it reminds me actually of a conversation I heard on Dave Ellefson's podcast, and he was talking about writing with Dave Mustaine, and particularly in the latter years, and just trying to convince Dave that like the audience is ready for something that's not kind of played to a click track. It's not played with and tinkered with and produced to the degree that it's perfect. It's like, let's go back to that older style of recording rock and roll, where the music breathes and it has energy, and there's a flow and a flux to it.
I think, but when it comes to recording these days, because budgets are smaller and everything else, I think gone are the days of spending like a month or whatever in a studio writing something. You've got to be recording to a click these days when it comes to kind of making sure everything comes together at the end.
Right.
But when it comes to live, this is where I want it to stick with that live non-click approach. Does that make sense, Will?
Yeah. I think just to add to that, something that we did that was really important to us is before we got in the studio to record, it was that we all got together beforehand to actually run because like most bands, we write at home. Mm-hmm. So we sit and write and record at home, and we send files back and forth, and we add bits and we take bits out, and we write in the back of the bus. If we've got a long journey, we'll sit and we'll do it all there and then. Yeah. But one of the things that was really important to us is that we all got together and actually played the music.
Yeah.
Because I won't name names, but there are very big bands who cannot play songs live because they cannot physically play the parts. Because that you sit and record two guitar parts and stitch them together, but then you realise that one is played down one end of the neck and the other one's played down the other end, and how am I physically going to go from one to the other because I recorded them both differently. So for us, that's an extreme example, but for us it was more like could these parts be better if we feed off each other when we're actually playing together, and especially with me and Nick, like being the rhythm section. I feed so much off what you can sit and listen. I can sit and listen to the drums on the demo and stuff, but when we're actually there doing it together, and you get the chance to really lean into the grooves, or am I actually holding this track back? Do I need to be much more on top of it? We did one. There's one track that we wrote together where I don't know if Nick was just like in a punishing mood that day, but he was like, "Just keep going. Let's just go." The tempo was really quick, and he was like, "Let's just keep going." And I was like, "Yes, so should we do a breakdown?" No, just keep going. And I'm so glad we did that together, because now I play it back and I'm like, fuck me, this is this is a workout playing this song,
Right.
and
Yeah.
it's great that we actually written it
I
that
was
way.
in one of those moods, Will. Yeah, it just happened, mate. But going
Yeah,
back to
yeah.
what you said about writing stuff in the back of the van,
Mm.
I think that is a thing, and it sounds a bit ridiculous being a drummer because I don't have much access to being able to write stuff in the back of a van. But we've been to on tours and places to the dark depths of Germany, and we've come back from these certain shows, maybe not being in the best of moods for whatever reason, and we've sat in the back and we've just kind of festered mentally and felt a bit down, and then suddenly someone goes, "Oh, come up with this riff," and then we'll go, "Oh, come up with this other riff," and we'll start kind of editing and writing stuff literally off a laptop, won't we?
Mm. Yeah, yeah. There is a story in there, but yeah, we basically
There is.
we had a trip. We had a trip that didn't really go quite the way anyone had hoped, and I think you really notice it when everybody's heads are down slightly, and you've got 18 hours of driving through 40-degree heat in Germany to get back home, and yeah, and it's one of the things that one of the days that really took me personally by surprise was the resilience of everyone in the band. We had a couple of hours to sit there and dwell over it, I suppose.
Right.
And then it was like a fucking bomb went off in the van. Suddenly everyone had all these ideas. And you just need one little catalyst to set it off, and everybody was firing on all cylinders. And because obviously, obviously what Nick says, James is sat there tightly programming the drums. What can we do with this riff? What can we do with that? Well, what if we change this drum beat and put this in here? And then Rach can just be like, okay, well, I'll put this vocal over this part. We could do this here, and things come together that way. And yeah, and I love that. So some of my favourite memories of being in the band was that day, to be honest, because it started off really shit and it ended fucking brilliantly. So.
Yeah.
Which is going to be the point I was going to make. Doesn't that just speak to the energizing nature of music, and the way that it can just turn your mood on a sixpence.
Yeah, it's the thing. It's the thing that unites us as four people, as four individuals.
Right.
Yeah, there's other stuff that we have in common, and there's other things that we, kind of like bond over. But the metal is the thing. When we sit there and like I put on a track, and then I hear someone else singing along, and I'm like, fuck! I thought this was a deep cut. Like I thought only I knew about this one. Like I can't believe you guys were around in 2004 as well. Like what? And it's those little things where you realise that we've all led really different lives, but actually we all had this one thing that we all had in common. That is, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, the reason that we're all sat around here is because it was extremely important to us. Probably in our teenage years, it was the thing that that you live for to an extent. When I was 14, 15 years old, every penny I saved went on gig tickets, and I just wanted to go to a gig as often as possible. I didn't care what day of the week it was. I didn't care where it was. I wanted to go and watch all the bands that I loved. And and I think the mentality it just drives through the whole band, really.
Yeah. Good. So you talk like everything you've said there just kind of reminds me of it's that hunger for music. It's that looking for it, seeking it, finding it in under rocks and places like that, looking for those deep cuts, like you said, and that uniting people. And it kind of reminds me of what you said right at the start of the conversation when you was talking about Cage Fight being this place where all of that stuff went, and it all went into this one project. So did you hear Cage Fight as it was being created, or did you hear the demos like after they were complete? Like, what was it like listening to that music for the first time?
I think Nick's the best person to answer that because I came in a bit late, so my story's a little bit different. But
right.
Yeah, Nick, I don't know what it was like for you.
So Will mentioned earlier about kind of lockdown COVID times with Cage Fights. So I had I suppose a call from a lady called Maz who knew James, and I used to work with Maz back in the day with my old band Aghast, and she basically said, "Look, I put your name forwards for a project with James One Teeth because you can hit drums fast and loudly." I said yes, that I can agree. Yeah, sign me up. And then this is before COVID. This is February before COVID hit. COVID happened. Didn't hear much. I thought, well, that was the end of that then. And then suddenly a message came through saying, I've got some songs. Once lockdown finished, it was a quick couple of rehearsals, then bang, straight into the studio. And this was when we were with Candlelight Records.
Right.
Straight into the studio. I didn't personally. I knew the songs well, but I didn't have a lot of time to really, become one with the tunes. There was programmed drums like most demos have. I just took those on board and did my version of those, and bang, I'm in the studio, and bang, it's recorded, and bang, it's out, and that was that. So that was my kind of way into Cage Fight. Um, since Will's joined, we've kind of done things a lot differently. So we've written everything from scratch and individually, individual parts, but also together as a band. And there is a second album which is kind of floating around in the ether, which I'm sure people will hear about at some point, which we've all crafted from scratch together. And it's a difference. It's the same, but the different sound. You can know it's Cage Fight, but it's much more refined and in my opinion, much more exciting.
Yeah, I mean, you've got you're going to move on naturally, aren't you? Especially from something that started as a COVID project, which there was an awful lot of bands starting in COVID,
Yeah,
and everything changes, doesn't it, when you start getting together and you've got that the relationship starts to build, the personal, all the chemistry you were talking about. You're never going to get that during COVID, so I can fully understand how it's going to be different going forward.
if someone else writes something from scratch and goes, here are the tunes,
Mm.
drum on these. That I love that. That there's something really exciting about that. There's also something really exciting about creating something from scratch.
Yeah.
So, and that's what we've been doing recently. The first record was a proper whirlwind approach to I think more of a whirlwind approach to the normal record would come together. It was here you go, bosh, bang in the studio, job done. And I listen back and I go, oh, I've maybe done that drum part differently,
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
but that's how things is. Any musician that goes, oh, that's incredible, fantastic, are either lying or massively arrogant. You're always going to look back and think, I could have done that differently, done that differently. And on the first record, that's I look back and think that way. And I think the way we've approached, as I mentioned earlier about this second album, that we've given it a lot more time to really hone those parts and make it something incredibly special.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the benefit of being able to look back in a critical way is it drives you to create in the future, doesn't it? Because
Absolutely.
it inspires ideas, and that's all the stuff that you want to bring to the next record.
Yeah.
Yeah, if everything's perfect on your debut album, where do you go from that? You know what I mean? You've got to start somewhere, unless you're Guns N' Roses or whatever. But
Yeah.
you've got to be able to
The
move forward. And Bean, you're definitely one for this. You love things to be sort of rough and ready, don't you? And you've got a sort of a thing for that. And I think these days there's a strive from a lot of people. Everything sounds sort of perfectly produced now, and even demos sound like almost perfectly polished pieces of music. And sometimes it's a little bit frustrating. You like bands to start off a little bit raw and a little bit edgy, and it just makes it all a bit more interesting. Then
Yeah.
you can see the progress as years go on as well.
I think we'll always be that you mentioned raw. We'll always be raw. That's
Mm.
that's who we are. But it's how it's put together, basically. We'll always be raw though. That
Good.
approach will not, that won't change.
Good. And that's kind of brings me to, make it that we talked about that contrast between, Cage Fight on record and Cage Fight live, which is kind of, it's like let off the leash somewhat, and things change and shift. And we know you've got some live dates coming up. So do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's the best part of being in a band, to be fair. Yeah, so well, yeah, obviously. So coming down to Radio City Social on 2nd of August. Really looking forward to that. We don't get to do many gigs like that at the moment, like playing the one-offs, and especially the fact that we get to do it as a Bloodstock warm-up as well. Like it's gonna be great. Like we're really looking forward to that one. It's having the opportunity for. We don't headline very often because we're that, we're in that kind of place where actually going out with other bands is great for us, and we've had a really good couple of years, like going out with Necrogoblicon, Party Cannon. It's been brilliant, and we're going out with Svalbard again at the end of the year. So yeah, to have that kind of one-off headline gig, like we did it at Club 85 in Hitchin, which is mine and Nick's local.
Right.
We did that last year and it was great. Like it's just nice to kind of be able to just bring that big show. And yeah, playing Bloodstock, obviously, I mean, just incredibly grateful for the opportunity. Bloodstock have believed in us as a band, as a project, supported us from, well, even before I was in the band, those first couple of shows. I think Simon came to see you at some venue in the middle of nowhere, didn't he? And he's always been really supportive. And yeah, we, like you say, Nick works there. We love Bloodstock. So yeah, really excited for that one. That's going to be great.
Yeah, I've worked there for coming up to 11 years, and this is the first time I got to play the main stage. So if anyone thinks working there gets you.
No, there's no special privilege, no special privileges for you.
There's no special privileges. No. But I've played there loads of times with different bands, which has been great. And I work on the Sophie Lancaster stage.
Right.
So I started out as a drum tech, and then became head drum tech, and now I'm backstage manager. I've been in that role for a few years now, which
fantastic.
Very, very interesting, exciting role. I have many stories, which will be for another interview, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll come back to that one.
Yeah, but we'll have to do like In the Abyss after hours.
Just on that.
Get Nick a half decent bottle of whiskey, and he has some brilliant stories.
With the stories.
Sorry, mate.
I'd imagine most of them started with half a bottle of whiskey.
No, a lot of the stories that I have start with me being very sober, working at the backstage of the Sophie Lancaster stage and dealing with people that maybe aren't.
Right.
Yeah. However,
based on the stories you've got, and as a backstage manager, drum tech, what advice would you give when new bands playing these kind of festivals?
So new bands, I'd say 100%, maybe 99.9 are incredible when they turn up. The stories I have are with maybe larger bands that have popped in to play their performance and maybe not be in the best of moods. But as I say,
just to build on, just to build on your question there slightly, Nick ran Metal to the Masses in Hitchin. So Nick has done years of this is kind of like what you need to do to get to this point kind of thing. Like Metal to the Masses is really like that place where young bands go to learn how to behave in a certain way when you get to that point. Like we played, me and Nick used to have another band, and we played the New Blood stage years ago. It was during like lockdown when you couldn't get that. They struggled to book international bands because they couldn't.
It was a year after lockdown.
Yeah,
and we were asked to play in our other band, just part of the New Blood, but not through Metal to the Masses. So it was like an additional band to fill like a gap. So it wasn't through the competition. It was for us to play. But yeah, sorry, Will, go on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, when you go through that process, like even for us, like Metal to the Masses is very much coaching young bands how to get to that point. It's one of the most underrated initiatives that the metal scene anywhere has ever had. It's not just a battle of the bands. It builds an enormous community. I mean, I don't know if you saw, I think a couple of you guys might follow me on Facebook, but if you saw the post that I shared the other day, the amount of metal bands from the North Hart scene who are playing Bloodstock this year is unbelievable. Right. And that, that is pretty much all built from Metal to the Masses.
Yeah.
You go to Metal to the Masses any Sunday at Club 85 in Hitchin, and it's going to be at least half packed. You'll recognise at least 10, 15 regulars who go there every time. And it's this whole community that gets built. And, I've judged it loads. And the bands come and ask you for feedback. What can we do better? What would you prefer us to do if we would come into Bloodstock to play? And when you go and play Bloodstock, when you look at the advance, it's not like a normal advance. It says, this is what you know, like behave, do this, be in this place at this time, make sure you have all of this gear. It's very much like, ushering the new generation in,
Right.
and coaching them and teaching them.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of that really gets sung about when it comes to
You've
Melton
got
Masters.
to
The
you've
service
got to
they're
have
doing.
clear expectations, and it's like that in any profession. It's like I'm a teacher, and like when you get new guys in the staff room, you're like, look, listen, stop leaving shit everywhere, and don't change the settings on the photocopier, otherwise I'm going to impale you on my board marker. No, but like you've got, it's like if a lot of people think, well, if I'm like grade 9 on the guitar, I'm going to make it as a guitar player, and there's the business side of it and how you present yourself and how you behave.
Absolutely.
If you can't turn up on time with your shit together, a drum tech or a guitar tech or a backstage manager is going to be like, oh, for fuck's sake, we're not going to book these guys next year. They're fucking hopeless.
Yeah.
If you can't turn up to sound check on time,
It's a great
if you
idea.
can't follow instructions on when to arrive at the venue and where to put your stuff, and to get off the stage in a timely manner after your set, those sorts of things.
I think as well,
but that's the stuff that people don't necessarily tell
sounds
you.
like it sounds like as well, it's a good way of keeping egos in check, because that's the other thing. Like, you could be like, oh, we've made it now, we're on the main stage at Bloodstock, and they turn up with a fucking attitude, and then people are like, oh, we don't want to book those guys again. They fucking, up their own asses.
I sincerely hope one of Nick's stories is about like Nurgle changing the photocopy settings at Bloodstock.
It's not far off. Going back to what Will said,
back machine.
I ran Melts the Masses Hitching since 2017, so it was the first time that Melts Masses has come to Hitching, which is an absolute honour for it to be at Club 85.
Right.
And I think it was after COVID, I said to Bob, who runs the club, I said, look, my life's changed. I'm now in cage fight as well, which got busier. I said, look, I need to pass this over to somebody. So I kind of passed it over to their team, and I've got a team running it. I've no idea how I ran it by myself with Bob, but thinking back, it makes me stress thinking about it. But now there's a whole team running it, and it's amazing. What they've done such a good job. They've taken what I wanted to do and made it happen, because I didn't have the time and brain space to actually make it happen. But I'm the kind of main link between Melts Masters Hitching and Bloodstock. So this year, Simon couldn't make it to the final, Simon Hall. So I was a version of Simon Hall, like a Simon Hall from Temu, basically. I turned up and did the speech at the end, all the rest of it. I said to the bands, if you want feedback, let me know, and all that kind of stuff. But it's the ultimate pressure test. That's what Melts the Masses is. Now, love it or hate it, it is what it is. You've got to be in it to win it, and all the other sayings.
Right.
That's the advice to young bands is go and take part in Metal to the Masses. Don't go in it to win it. Go in it to learn.
Exactly that. Just go in it to take part and work yourselves out. I've been in the band that hasn't gone through, been in the bands that have gone through. But you meet people as well, so the networking opportunities. And I hate using the word networking; it's cheesy as fuck, but it's true. You're meeting people, you're talking to people, and it's amazing what things can happen. I remember Melts Masses London 2009, whatever it was, when my old band went through, and I met Simon, and we started chatting, and then I ended up working there, and things happen.
Yeah.
And I did a speech.
Now we're playing the main stage of Bloodstock.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Right. There is a thread.
Yeah. But I did a speech on stage this year about bands that don't go through, and about keeping your head up high and taking feedback on board, and the fact you're taking part is what is important, and don't be disheartened that you haven't won, etc., etc. And I meant that. I really meant that. Because a lot of bands that don't win, they go off head, tail between their legs and get really sad about it. It's like, no, you got this far. You got to the final. But even bands that got you maybe knocked out in the heats, whatever, but you've got involved. You've had the balls to do this. That's a massive win. But
no, we've seen some very cool bands on the New Blood stage over the years. Some really, really cool stuff, and we've talked about this on this podcast several times. That also playing that stage, you can get lucky if there's no one on the main stage, something like that. There's a gap somewhere. You can be playing to a full tent. You know,
Yeah.
we've
Yeah,
seen it
yeah,
absolutely
absolutely.
rammed. So it's just
But
it's such a huge thing for British metal.
it is, but it's also it's for bands to put on their CV and use it as a springboard
Yeah,
to move to the next
yeah,
level. You
Yeah,
know,
of
I think the
course.
other thing
Yeah.
as well, so
yeah,
there seems like there's some intangibles as well. Like you're not going to be able to learn how to build a rapport with a crowd unless you play in front of a crowd. This isn't something you can just read about on a internet forum. So like yeah,
yeah,
I think again it's that exposure as well is key.
yeah,
Yeah, and you go through every round of Metal to the Masses. It's all experience. You know the amount of gigs that you're playing, and it's also guaranteed gigs. Which if any
Yeah.
of you have ever been in bands, they can be hard to come by when you don't have an agent or a label or anything like that. So to have to sign up to it. I mean, any young bands that are listening to this, just find out where your nearest Metal to the Masses is, and sign up and just get involved.
yeah.
You never know what'll happen.
Because
And,
it's not just a gig, is it? You know, it's a brand which has a community attached, which has an
Absolutely.
audience attached. You know, and that's crucial.
yeah,
Yeah.
and just basically have an open mind and learn from what's around you. We've had bands who are incredible musicians,
Mm.
but fall short in other ways. You know, they may have a bit of an ego coming off stage, or they run over slightly and they get the arse with the tech, the crew, or whatever. You know, and then you get people that aren't the best at playing, but are the loveliest people in the world. It's about you look at what's around you and you learn, basically.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Let's take this back to Cage Fight a little bit. And so you're dropping a new single shortly. We just heard it. You've been playing it live for a while. I don't actually have the title in front of me because it wasn't on the far. So
It
I'll leave that
was,
with you.
it was, but so the title of the song is "I Hate Your Guts," but it's stylized IHYG. So the title is IHYG, and before you think we're insane, Converge have done it, so
That's fair. Yeah,
it's obviously okay.
No
but
complaints
yeah,
here,
so
man. It's a
yeah,
banging track. No
It
complaints.
is a banging track, and I think what stands out on this one, even compared to the album, is the chorus is a real hook. There's a real groove in that chorus, and I love it. And it kind of came from nowhere because it's classic Cage Fight, and then that chorus hits, little bit almost clean vocals in there from Rachel. But that like I like that. That caught my ear properly, and that sort of bodes well. So off the back of that, we touched briefly on new music. What sort of what can we expect from the album when when we eventually get it? Anything that you want to sort of give away, or
but I think like the thing that I think you will really notice when you have a listen to the new material is that the dynamic has shifted within the band. So obviously, first record that I've been on, Nick and I live 10 minutes away from each other. James and Rach live 10 minutes away from each other. So the writing process has been slightly different because what we did was like Nick would come around mine and we just set the electric kit up. So it's not like all the tracks have been like the drums have been programmed, for instance. So you get so much more of the kind of feel and stuff like that. And a lot of the tracks that Nick and I wrote together, you can tell that a drummer has gone, why don't you do this there? Because it's the most batshit crazy guitar part. And you'll be like, and you listen to it, you're like, the drummer's having a good time. That's why the guitarist has got cracked.
When it comes to the demos, yeah. So
Absolutely.
So I mentioned about the first album earlier.
Uh-oh.
It was a guitarist programming drums, going, "This is how I think the drum parts should go. Could you do that, please?" And then we went in the studio. This album, as I mentioned earlier, I was just kind of touching on earlier, is all from scratch. So there hasn't been much of that at all. It's literally me and Will or me and James jamming together on a kit. So and then recording the kit and going, that this will be the basis to the track. So all the kind of accents and the kind of nuances of a drummer playing the drums actually live in that situation is how it started and how the foundations have been laid, if that makes sense.
Well, there's a human element to that, and if you can bake that into the recording, it's like it kind of touched on what we've been talking about, that thing where the music breathes. Well, that requires humans to be involved, without unless you're going to go through the rigmarole of programming that stuff meticulously in, you can't really beat that kind of human element.
Yeah, exactly. And just before I shut up, but basically, the human element for me personally as a drummer is so, so important. So any record I'm on, it has to be 100% me with all the mistakes in there as well. It's got to
Right.
be me. I'm not a fan of what a lot of people love, which is that kind of overly clinical approach to production and drumming and all the rest of it. Fair play to those guys, happy days and well done. But I want to do it human, like you say.
Mm,
It's
mm.
got to be massively kind of natural and organic, and that's the way we put this together. And that's anything I get involved in has got to be like that. Otherwise, I walk.
I think with the huge thing for me on album two as well is like what a fucking vocalist Rach is.
Mm.
Like I
Yeah,
don't give a shit that I'm in her band. Like she
incredible.
is ridiculous in every regard. And the huge difference between album one and album two for me is that she has just gone fucking mental. Like she's just gone. I'm doing everything.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna
pretty.
do it really fucking well,
It is. It's,
and it's
we can
just mind
we,
blowing.
we can say this is the rhythm section, can't we? Will
Yeah. Because we can't normally we're just like,
we can say this, but honestly, Rachel has pushed the envelope so much.
yeah,
This new stuff. I mean, you guys have heard "I Hate Your Guts," which obviously is single coming out before Bloodstock. I think that is the plan anyway. But um, the record itself, the vocals are just sublime.
yeah.
Mm,
They
mm.
really are, and there's a lot of stuff on there. I'm not gonna say anything too much right now, but there's stuff on there which is absolutely incredible.
Right. Where did you record? Did you have like a whole production team on, producer, or was it a big production? Was it you know, how was it
We
put
did it.
together?
I think we can. Yeah, we published it on our Instagram. We did it at Lower Lane Studios up
Right.
in Stoke. So we fell in love with oatcakes. It's just like honestly, keeping Cage Fight happy is easy. Beer and food, and like as soon as the guys mentioned, they were like oatcakes. We just every day be stopping off, getting an oatcake, going to studio, and
Right.
yeah, it was a bit of a game changer. But yeah, we did it. We just did it there. So we just did it with the Sam Blaw, who works out of Lower Lane. He did the last two in Human Nature,
Graphic nature,
Nice.
not in
Okay.
Human Nature,
Oh,
graphic nature.
Graphic Nature,
right. Yeah.
the last two Graphic Nature records,
Easy mistake,
and
Mike.
But what
yeah,
but
um,
what I will remember Sam Blow for, apart from his very very good production techniques and being a drummer, where you're locked in a room with the cans on and you've only got communication with one man.
Mm.
He was incredible when it came to putting this record together. Absolute genius, man. Fair play to him.
his
What I
man
will say,
management was amazing.
what I will say, which is incredibly important, which you touched on, Will, was his love for oatcakes. Um, and he introduced me to oatcakes, and my life changed. And
I love that.
so
Like a
did my
couple of
weight. My weight changed as well. Oh, as well. But yeah, sorry, mate. What were you saying?
Oh no, I was about to say, a couple of generations ago, it would have been heroin,
I was
booze,
just thinking the same
cocaine,
thing.
and then we now live in an age where bands are just getting heavily into oatcakes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've developed a problem. I'm going to an oatcake rehab soon to work it out, but I don't really want to talk about this in this. If that's okay.
Betty
Well, look, we
forthcoming
wish you all the
fucking
best with
okay.
that. Yeah.
I mean, so what you get from the outside with Cage Fight is, as a band, it's pissed off. Obviously, lyrically, you deal with a lot of very real subjects, political and mental health and things like that. So, are you take it lyrically, subject wise, the songs, are you still sort of going down that route? Or are we sort of, shifting anything like that? Is it still as pissed off as it always has been?
yeah, yeah. It's
We've got
like
loads of reasons to be pissed off at the moment, haven't we? So,
yeah, 100%. I think this like I say, Rach smashed this whole thing out of the park, and I think it's a yeah, it's a very personal record. so I won't even attempt to try and do, you know, any justice to the meanings behind stuff. But it's so pissed off. I mean, the first track that we're putting out is called "I Hate Your Guts."
Yeah,
I think I kind of feel like it's down from there. Do you know what I mean?
Really want to
So,
see. I really want to see a band come up with an album just called "Cost of Living." It needs to be done.
it's just the whole thing is just fucking angry.
Mm.
It's just really, really pissed off, just anger and resilience. I think are probably, you know, the two things for me personally that I take away from the record. It's that's kind of the main thing for us, and it's, you know, thematically not a huge amount has changed.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a fucking cage fight. We just, because me and Nick got left alone for 5 minutes, there are little bits of, like, dare I say, prog in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
What if we
that's
did
it. I'm off.
What if we were to just do like this on this bit?
Yeah,
Before it was like every track was like 3 minutes, but now there's a song that's like 5 minutes, which that's prog territory.
there's a song that's at least 7 minutes, isn't there?
Whoa.
Well, yeah, if you put the
But basically, Will and I accidentally took the Will did this actually, the Chuck Schuldiner way of songwriting, wasn't it?
Yes, we me and Nick were jamming, and Nick was like, just play a riff, don't think about it, just play it. So I just started playing this dumb caveman riff, and then, you know, like, you talk and you start to do clever kind of things and change it up, and you're like, oh, actually this isn't half bad. But the one trap that I think most people fall into, or certainly that I would fall into, is that I would hit that default of verse, chorus, verse, or verse, bridge, chorus, middle eight, outro.
Right.
And I just thought, I'd spent a lot of time watching YouTube videos, and I was like, why don't we just hit the Chuck Schuldiner structure? So if you listen to Death, basically any Death song, he always goes like verse 1, verse 2, verse 3, verse 4, verse 5, chorus, verse 1, verse 2, verse 3, verse 4, verse 5, end. So every Death, so that's why the Death songs are like 6 minutes long, because it's just one 3 minutes long song, but doubled. So when we were talking about the song structures, I was like, I want to do this, and it was like, it would probably work here actually, and James got a hold of it and then just got on fucking acid, and like we just went, it just got crazy, and it just worked well. We just built on it, you know, together. That was the thing, is that's the recurring theme of this whole record, is everything is done together. Yeah, maybe me and Nick started one song, or James started another, or James and Rach started another, whatever it might be. But everything has our dirty little mitts all over it. We've all done things to the songs to make them cage fight. It's got input from all four of us. And I think that's the one thing that I personally think people will take away from it. When I listen to it now, I can hear the different influences that come from us as individuals.
And the song you're talking about, we also messed around with a few time signatures, didn't we?
Mm.
We were like, oh, we'll take
that's the prog element for me. I mean,
this definitely sounds like prog territory.
No, it's very slight. Don't panic.
We might owe Mastodon a sandwich, but you won't notice it. It's fine. Like,
we took a couple of beats off here, and then, you know. But going back to the album, I think it's very aggressive, like Will says, but there's also a lot of emotion in it.
Right.
Yeah, that's
there's
important.
a lot of emotion, which makes it even rawer.
And the thing I would say is, obviously you've listened to I Hate Your Guts. The thing that was really important for us is that the first single had to be something that really fucking set the tone.
Mm.
So what is Cage Fight 2025? What one song encapsulates Cage Fight 2025? Right. And that's how we came to the conclusion that it was that song. That was the one that it just it was the begin as you mean to go on kind of song.
Was that a unanimous kind of easy decision to make, or did you throw that around for a little while?
So we always knew it was going to be a single. We knew straight away what the singles were. Ordering the release, took a conversation. But I think it was unanimous quickly that it was going to be "I Hate Your Guts" first, because
Right.
it was just the one. Like, we were chatting the other day. When he mentioned that you hadn't been to see us for since Bloodstock,
It was
which is like
Bloodstock
3 years ago.
2022.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and we've been playing "I Hate Your Guts" live since January 2024. So we've been playing it for 18 months now. It was the first song that we wrote as a four piece.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah, it was the one where James basically, it was the first one where James had put a demo together and he'd gone, I like this. Has this got legs? And we all sat there and went, fucking done.
Yeah.
And then, obviously then Rage puts a vocal to it and we just built from there, and we loved it. I remember when I first put it on and I was like, oh, I don't want to say what it reminded me of, but that opening riff, just the fucking rhythmic pattern of it, I just loved. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. And we got in the studio, tightened it up, and then we were like, this is good to go. Let's just start playing it. So yeah, we've been playing that one for 18 months now, and it always goes down well live. Of all the new stuff that we play, that's the one. It's got the two-step section. It's got the groove where everyone's head goes. When that groove comes in, like, I'm not just saying it, it's the one where everyone unanimously, it's that really nice tempo. It's the sweet spot where even the Impress Me bros at the back have to go, they have to get on that little headbang, and I love it. I love that. I think it's great.
So before we let you go, then, the album's going to come out at some point. You've got these dates coming out. You've got the Svalbard tour. But what are the long-term ambitions now for Cage Fight? Because obviously, James obviously got Tesseract as well. I mean, so you're all going to be busy people. Everyone's got lives. What do you actually want to achieve with the band?
This is a good question.
World domination. I mean,
I think it's like, I think we're all on the same page in terms of like long term. I genuinely have no idea how to answer that question. I think I'm taking every day as it comes, one foot in front of the other. Like, just gratitude for everything that we get to do, and being really grateful for what comes in. In terms of long term ambitions, I mean, I think what we're really looking forward to is seeing what the reception to album 2 is like. I think that's going to be something that changes our perception as a band and as individuals, and kind of what we're doing, because it's album 2. Everything becomes two-dimensional then. It's not just one record that everyone, it's not just one image that everyone's built up. It's and as you guys know, bands are brands. It's not just the music. It's the image, it's the videos, it's the photos, it's the products you put out. It's all that sort of stuff, and how you build from there. And I think that we are rapidly developing in the way that we do things. That if you compare us now to what we were doing 18 months ago, the live show, the way that we're putting things together, I think, has changed enormously. And so I feel like short term, like, we just keep touring. Keep touring. That's the thing. We all love it. Get as many Germany offers as possible, because German metalheads are just brilliant.
Yeah, different breed.
We absolutely love it. We love one of the things that I will say is that we are really keen to break into France. So we've done one show in France so far, and we're really keen to do, like, we'd love to do a string of dates over there. It's something that, obviously, like with Rage, it's very personal to us, and it's something that I know that I think that's the big ambition of hers, is to do a lot more in France. So that's something, sort of medium term goal that we're looking to achieve. But yeah, in terms of long term, I don't know.
It's before you said, well, when a second record's out, we obviously will see how that goes. I'm quietly confident that it will be something that people will receive well. But yeah, let's just see what happens. We'll keep hitting the road. We'll keep playing these shows. One-off shows like we're playing soon with you guys on on the third of August. But also any tours that come up and anything else. We'll just see how it goes.
And that Bloodstock early main stage slot, I mean, we've seen it countless times. It's such an opportunity as well because
Yeah.
you get people rock up for those early slots. I've seen some fucking great performances over the years in those early sort of 2 or 3 slots. So, you know, you'll have people eating out the palm of your hand at 12 o'clock, whatever time it is you're on, and you just got to go out there and fucking own it, own you, and love
Yeah,
everything.
I really hope so because you know, at the end of the day, the debut album was out a long time ago. Now we're very much exited that cycle from the album. You know, so we're very grateful to be getting the shows that we've been getting since that cycle has ended. So which I think puts us in a good stead because we can get some great shows, even though that's in a way old news. So that you know, when it comes to the new record, it's going to be the same, if not better, in my opinion.
And that big Bloodstock stage is a hell of a platform to shout that out to the world. You know, this is what's coming next.
It's an endorsement, in my opinion. You know, the fact that they're trusting us with being able to put on a show that's worthy of that stage, and we don't take that lightly. You know, we understand the gravity of that slot and what we are being entrusted to do by the festival for the fans, and we're going to go out there and put on the best show physically possible, and you know, and hope that some opportunities come from that. The only other thing I would add to that is immediate term goals. Desperate to play Mystic Fest again in Poland.
Oh, that was great.
If you ever want to go to a European festival just to get out of the country for a bit or just to see what it's like elsewhere, Mystic Fest in Poland, fuck me, it's good. Like, we flew from Stansted, it took like an hour and a half or something. Literally, like, get the £1 train from Gdansk airport down to the festival, and it's like £2 a beer.
Yeah,
and the beer's good.
So Will, I believe that I'm only assuming this, Will, that you're basing this around the price of the beer.
I might be slightly.
I know a couple of people that have been and they speak really highly of it as well. So yeah,
Brilliant festival.
Joking aside, it's an awesome festival, and yes, the beer is cheap.
And the Polish people are lovely as well.
Yeah.
And that made it a really nice experience, as everyone was lovely.
It was just an awesome setup, wasn't it? It was just nice, smooth, nice people, great festival, I enjoyed the set. Happy days.
You just stay in the hotel next door. It's a dock. It's an old shipping yard, so it's all like concrete floors. So when it absolutely caned it down with rain during, I can't remember what band we were watching, like, you know, the ground doesn't get wrecked, and loads of it's indoors as well. It's wicked.
I think that's cool about some of the European festivals. Like this is on Brutal Assault as well as another one that's in an old fort, and you had things like Metal Days in Slovenia, all these sort of unique settings that we don't really get in the UK. So yeah, I get it. It's cool. Yeah, I'm going to Alcatraz same weekend as Bloodstock, so that'll be something a bit different to see. Padre and I went to back in a couple of times back in the early 2000s, but yeah, totally different world on the continent.
Yeah, they do things differently. I think because like Bloodstock's on a lake.
Yeah. But you wouldn't know.
We're not allowed nice things in this country. Like, can you imagine if they
don't let a load of British people near a lake? It won't end well.
My aim this year is I'm going to try and get to one of the metal fests in Bahrain, which they have in a small bar in a hotel. It's as good as you're going to get in the Middle East, but it's starting to build up there. So that'll be nice. See where that goes. There's some absolutely, talking about being pissed off, there's some brutal Saudi Arabian like death metal. Like, those guys have been like just kept in a pen for so long, and now it's just fucking pissed.
You need to leave things to say. I'd like to think that I am a well-versed and well-cultured man of metal, but I have never listened to Saudi Arabian death metal, and I feel like I need it in my life.
Amazing. I can add that to my collection, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, imagine the catharsis that's just coming from that scene.
We'll talk about it next weekend. Guys, look, thanks for coming on. It's been a whole fucking world of fun, and we're really looking forward to next Saturday's show. So give it a quick plug. So anybody's in the Essex area or London or Southeast or even further, if you're willing to travel, we've still got a few tickets left. So get yourselves down to Radio City Social, Cage Fight, obviously, The Grey, who are just an incredible post-metal band, and Row of Ashes as well, who stepped in and coming all the way from Bristol. It's going to be a great fucking night. So get yourselves down, 12 quid a ticket.
Man. For the first time ever, I'm there.
Yeah, even he's coming. So
Wow. I have to say also, it's such a cool little venue for a band like Cage Fight. It's so small. It literally will be like a cage fight in
Can we
tiny
get them a
little
cage?
room.
Can we actually get a cage?
you will, you'll love it. It's a great little place, and the best beer you'll ever drink. So but you'll be able to talk about that a little bit more next Saturday, won't you?
Yeah, no, really looking forward to it. Did you have? I think and now I'm getting the name right. You had Inhuman Nature down a little while ago, I think.
Not yet. No, it's in what is it, November 14th? We just announced it yesterday. Yeah. So
I see all the footage I've seen from that place is wild. Like Mastiff, you did have Mastiff down.
Yeah, we had yeah. That was our third birthday show. That was a Mastiff, Hidden Mothers, Urza, and Power Failure. It was a crazy night. That was absolutely mental. Frog Lord recently as well was another one. That was.
Was that the Gert one?
Yeah, Frog Lord and Gert. Yeah.
Praetorian as well. Yeah,
yeah. That was.
Your hearts represent. Some wicked gigs down there. So really excited to play it. I think it's going to be be a great night.
No, we appreciate you coming down, mate. So we'll look forward to it. Right, you can have your life back now. Thanks for doing this, and good luck with everything. And we will see you next Saturday.
Yeah, magic, nice one. Cheers, guys. See you next week.
Thanks everybody for watching.
Been a pleasure.
We're almost at the last point before Bloodstock and all the festivities. So after this, we'll have a Bloodstock preview dropping in a few days. So make sure you watch that and go and enjoy the festival and whatever it is you're doing. And we will see you when we get back and recovered from hangovers. So cheers. Thanks for watching. Stay metal.